I'm Norma Haas Rosen. Hi, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching. We're going to work on zines today. What is a zine? It's a simple art form from a single sheet of paper, could be 8.5 by 11 or bigger. It's any topic of your choosing. What's beautiful about a zine is you self-publish it by making it yourself, and as many or as few copies as you want. Today we're going to work on 4 different types of zines. A great art form, great way to express yourself. So let's get started. Cool. We're going to be making this simple zine that's just a single page. You want to use a table that's darker as a guide. Or if you're working outside, you can use the top of an art kit or art box. It's a great folding surface. So just remember to make clean folds. That's important when you're working, to make very clean folds. So we're just turning the paper horizontally and making a fold. And then we're going to turn it in the reverse direction again and make a fold. And then you want to make sure you keep the top as the half fold and the bottom, the bottom is open. You want to make sure your folds are very clean in both directions and work with the memory of the paper, because the paper is a fiber and it has memory. When you open it up, this is what you have. You have your cover, your back cover, and 2 images inside. And that's your simple zine. It's a beginning, it's a humble beginning. Developing it over time and changing it is the beauty of self-publishing something yourself. Just like on campus here for our garden, we create gazettes. This is the earliest one, and then it developed. This one, the earliest one was in 2012. Then in 2015, we became a little more sophisticated. The newest Gazette, which just came out, which is really beautiful and uses quite a bit of graphics and drawings with articles and portraits of the people that work in the garden. So as you're working on a project, it may have a very humble beginning, but become something very different. We're on zine number 2 right now. I work with a single sheet of paper here, like we did before, and we're gonna fold it in half, and then we're gonna fold it in quarters. So that's what I'm gonna do. You're gonna get a good clean start, and then press it down. Find the center fold and use the paper memory and go towards the fold. You have 4 quarters and 4 peak folds. So you have 8 even folds on your paper. Now we're gonna do one cut, but we're gonna fold in half first and then make our cut. I made one cut, as you will see, on my half fold. And now this is where the magic happens. I'm gonna fold it in half. I'm gonna push towards the center. And fold all the pages in. Keep all the open ends at the bottom. Our front cover are page 1 and 2, our pages 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and our back cover. Just put a little dab of glue stick. You want to, just a little bit in here. Just one dab. You put a little here, just dab it a little and 2. So this is the final on your zine number 2. Before we go on to zine number 3, it's important to know that you can create a zine of any size. It doesn't have to be just the whole sheet of paper. It can be a quarter of the sheet of paper. This is a quarter sheet of paper, a little zine. This is a full sheet of paper. So it's bigger. If you wanted to, you could have a zine that's double-sided. So with that said, we're ready to go on to zine number 3. This is probably the easiest zine to make. You're gonna make just one fold, there's no cutting, and the finished zine requires 2 staples. But it is the trickiest to plan because you'll see, even though you fold your paper in half, it's going to give you 4 pages in a booklet. So it can be a lot of fun to create something like this. So you're just going to take your 8.5 by 11 and you're going to fold each piece in half. And remember, you want to keep your book spine on the left side. So we're just going to fold our papers. You want to make sure that all your papers are stacked together. They're not on top of each other, they're inside of each other. That's really important, so that you can number them, and then when you're totally finished, you'll be able to put your 2 staples and you'll have your collection to make a zine booklet. So again, it's only one fold, it's a whole sheet of paper in half. Remember that you need to keep your pages in order. In terms of your art, if you're having page art with text and it goes in a certain order, you have to stack it, as I said, from the middle. Just so you see, this is one complete page, but it has art from page 1 and page 2, page 23 and page 24. So it's not, even though it's one paper, it's not in actual order of the numbers because of the way we're folding and creating 4 pages out of one sheet of paper. And with that, we can move on. Just a little note about originals and printers and how you might work with different formats. For people that really enjoy font and working with computers, you can even print out different fonts and collage the letters and mix it in with handwriting, as you see here, and to give some variety. You'll see that handwriting works. You might even see lines from the photocopier in the work. Mixing it in with a drawing, it makes its own texture. It's really interesting. And you can also, in reversal, take your positive drawings and make them negative. Just reversing it on the photocopier, where the actual original was black line on white, but you can simply switch it out on the computer. Best thing with the zine is that you can self-publish it, make as many copies as you want to, and distribute them on your own, because it's your own creation and you have total control over what you're publishing. And keep your original safe, your original collage, and just make a ton of copies. Black and white, 11 cents, what a deal. So with that said, I think we can move on to zine number 4. It's a very simple fold. It's made out of one complete sheet of paper, and you're folding 16 boxes. And from it, you'll get a 16-page zine. The other materials, you need your scissors, your glue stick, and a pencil, and of course your paper. So we're folding our paper, beginning always with a half fold. And again on the other side. So you have your peak folds, then into the center. You want to fold in half, perfectly in half. And then what's a little different in this is we're going to fold one more time on each side to get our 16 boxes. Get into the center, fold, and then you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And then you're going to open it up. And you have your 16 boxes. And then here's your completed paper. Every other row is upside down. You're going to have to make 3 cuts. On the side with the 1, it goes to the 3. On the side with the 4 that's upside down, it goes to the 7. On the side with the 8, it starts at the 8 and it goes to the 11. So let's make those cuts. It kind of looks like a slinky after you cut it, which we have here, and you're actually folding. Let me just briefly show you where you're going. Here's your front cover. On your paper, it looks like this. And you're going front, back, front, and flipping. And then front, back, front, and flipping. And front, back, front, and flipping again. And front, back, front. And then you have your back cover. So here we are on content. What are you going to put in the zine? There's so much you can do, whether it's to make a total image that fills the whole page, or you can make a zine that's in 8 sections of foldable pages that's delineated, and looking at information that will inspire you, whether it's a journal, of this type for artists with collecting content and bits and pieces of things, working with images and other kinds of ideas for sketching. Blackout Poetry, taking actual pages from books, like in this case, just a poem, or taking like a page from Moby Dick over here and blacking it out. New York Times Magazine, educators, wonderful possibilities with different kinds of imagery and writing and text that you can use and work on top of, as in this case, to work on top of the materials in the magazine and use it as an art material and write on top of it or block it out or draw on top of it, working with gardening pages and other kinds of things to develop the imagery, collage, picking out words that will work, concrete poetry, shape poetry that will work, like this is a clock, this is a clock, this is another one, a poem about a balloon, and then another wonderful thing for educators, Poetry Foundation has a great website with lesson plans and features monthly magazines, really excellent, and different kinds of shapes and fonts that can give you ideas to work with. The history almanac that goes back for farmers from 1792 by Ben Franklin and Robert Thompson. Also has aeronautical and weather charts and planning charts, and sci-fi, the comet from 1972, done on a mimeograph machine, and was distributed way before there were ever copiers, is really very interesting in terms of a resurgence. As sci-fi became popular, just so much that can be done. Just a bit about pop culture. You might be wondering what artists are doing now in terms of zine making. Also, when people make zines, sometimes they develop it a bit further into graphic novels or books of poetry. Some of the contemporary zine possibilities also are working with photography and developing like a photo book. This is of our garden studio, and it's mostly haiku with photography, and it's very simple to work, a very simple format on Google with a template for creating booklets or photographic scenes. And haiku is a great medium because it's a poetry format that uses a meter of 5 syllables, 7 syllables to 5 syllables that work with photography. And Eric Pepper Rivera, also at One Piece Books, does very interesting work with photography, with graphics. This is under the 10 freeway, and you can see there's Nipsey Hussle here. And another one that he created, again, that are available. And Dave Van Patten, artist and muralist, also does very simple black and whites. I want to thank you for watching the video. Please visit us at wattstowers.org. There's so many wonderful tutorials there, plus information about the Watts Towers Art Center campus and our classes and festivals. And thank you for watching the zines and hope to see you next time, and give it a shot. Do it yourself. Develop something from pop culture that interests you and make a very special zine. Thank you for watching.